You get 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. Yeah. Just start from the top. All right, we're the Hebrew Israelites. We come out week in and week out. All right, to prophesy the downfall of America, which is known in the scriptures as Babylon the Great, and also to preach the word unto the elect of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, this system, okay, this world, okay, is going out. All right, who we call God and His Son, okay, they're coming back to destroy this system, to destroy these kingdoms. So with that, we're going to give all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Harakat Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders that rule well at Great Millstone. And salutations to all you sincere Akim preaching this word in all truth and sincerity. All right, so go ahead and bring it up, Sure.
All right, this is 2 Thessalonians 3:1. Finally, brethren, pray for us that the word of the Lord may have free course and be glorified, even as it is with you.
God, we got to pray. All right, pray for each other, okay, that the word of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai increases and that it may have free course. All right, you got a lot of assholes out here, vain talkers of the circumcision that are bringing out fables, that are bringing out heresies, okay, that are putting a block out there for those that are sincerely seeking answers. Like if somebody's new to the faith or sincerely trying to make a connection with Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, but you got guys out there saying that the heathen can make it. You putting a stumbling block out there, man. Okay? You're taking away from the truth. All right? So we must pray and pray for each other that this word have free course, man. Okay, that there's no hindrances in us coming out here and us doing our lessons. Okay, because Satan is at an all-time high. All right, with being a disturbance, with being a hindrance, and that hindrance, that disturbance is going to get worse and worse as we approach the final hour. Okay? But the thing is, as Satan gets worse, all right, comes at us harder, all that's going to do is allow Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai to stir up that spirit within us to go harder. Okay? Like you see brothers doing videos. Okay, not letting up. Brothers on fire. Okay, and actually coming out with sound doctrine. Meanwhile, Satan being a disturbance, a hindrance to us all, what it's for is to get the guys that, we're not meant to excel. We're not meant to, make it into the end. They're going to run, and that current's just going to get stronger, and it's going to push them back. Okay, why? Because ultimately, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai didn't choose you, but you are not giving this, your devotion, your dedication, man. Keep going with that. You got to be dedicated to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai first and foremost, above anything else, man. Because only Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai can save you. All right, your job can't save you. Your mother, your father can't save you. Okay, a brother can't save you. We can't save ourselves. Okay, We need Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai to save us. Therefore, in every moment, every day, you gotta pray to the Lord. You gotta cry out unto the Lord for the deliverance in your daily life, in all things. Okay? We don't want to wake up every day having to go to work and slave for Esau and then go back home to, just a bullshit fucking circus wheel life. What?
It says, and that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men, for all men have not faith.
Yeah. Yeah, that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men. Alright? Esau, the so-called white man, that motherfucker is unreasonably wicked. Okay? 2/3 of our people, you can't reason with 2/3 of our people, man. You can't tell them that, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is for them. Alright? Like that scripture that says, wherein is thou loved us? Jake asking the Lord, like, how do we know that you're our God? But here it is, we're telling our people what goes on in everyday life because they choose to rebel against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They choose not to glorify or come back to the Lord. Therefore, their lives, get worse and worse. Right? Hey man, you could have a woman, right? And tell her what's required of her as a woman. She ain't gonna do that, bro. 2/3 of our people, they'd rather not take their time to serve the Lord. Okay? They'd rather continue life as they know life, being wicked, all right, being drug addicts, being adulterers, thugs, just being in the world. Okay, you tell them, hey, this world is about to get nuked. You tell them that the money is about to become garbage. Well, they don't care. As a matter of fact, that'll just push them faster into that direction, man. But we need to be delivered from them, man. Esau, especially Esau, man. Because this devil's gonna come down with that wrath, man. He's gonna come out with all kinds of crazy weapons and psyops and using that AI to demonize us, man. We need to be delivered from him. He's gonna have the whole world thinking that we're a terrorist organization, man. He's gonna have the whole world thinking that we're fucking like he's out there trying to snatch up little kids and shit, man. You get what I'm saying, man? I think they just passed a law within Elam or Ishmael.
Yeah, Iraq.
Yeah, gun. Oh, those are Assyrians, But they're still Middle Eastern, They're still Shemites. And passed a law that the legal age of consent in marriage is 9 years old, man. Okay? So there's some real sick people out there, man. But they're gonna paint us to look worse than everybody else. Remember that video that they do there with the apostles drinking bread? Hey man, that AI man is it's a tool, man. It's a device. It says, for all men have not the faith. You see, and that's what we're out here to push. We're out here to push hope, faith, telling you that there's still a chance. You know, telling you that if you're of the elect, all you gotta do is believe. Okay, it doesn't matter what you've done in your past life. Okay, it doesn't matter where you've been. But just to be sincere with the Lord and believe, have faith, okay, that can save you. Yahweh Shai told a lot of people. You know, he said your faith had saved you, you know. Go to verse 3,
Alright, 2 Thessalonians 3:3. But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil.
Yeah, but the Lord, He is faithful. And He establishes us, man. Alright, He keeps your foot firm. Can you get Isaiah 33? Because without Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you could bug out, man. You could lose faith and bug out.
It was just done.
Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, is his treasure.
You see, wisdom and knowledge is going to keep us stable. But it's not the wisdom and knowledge of this world. It's the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which comes with keeping the law, statutes, commandments to the best of your ability, which comes with having faith, even though all odds are against you. Okay? That's what's going to keep you stable in the time to come, because you know you're not going to be stable, you know, financially, man. Because this financial system is going out the door. Okay? There ain't going to be food readily accessible to the public. Okay? So you're going to have faith. You're going to have stability in our higher power, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? When we left Egypt, alright, when we were delivered out of Egypt, you know, there was no stores that we went to. Jake was in the desert. Okay? The Lord, you know, had manna come down. You know? He rained manna from heaven and fed us, man. He had a great wind come and bring swoops of quail. Okay? A lot of people don't know, but pigeons are actually clean birds. A pigeon is a dove. You can eat a pigeon. And a lot of us out here in Babylon were raised up to think that pigeons were just some dirty birds. You know?
What's up, guys?
And you know what? They do appear, you know, dirty outwardly, but inwardly they're clean. They're meant to eat you know, certain insects and you know, certain other insects and stuff, but they're clean. You can eat them. All right. Now, I'm not saying that the Lord gonna feed us pigeons in that day, but we have common sense. We have the understanding to know what to do and what we can't do in that evil day, man. Meanwhile, you got Israelites that are selling out now. You got Israelites that are selling out now. And we're not even in the evil time.
Yeah.
You know? I had to move this a little bit. Keep having to yell. Feel like the wind is not going to pick me up, but there we go. That's better. But yeah, we need that wisdom and knowledge. All right, we need to grow in the faith and the spirit, because the last days, all right, the final hours This place are going to be an actual test, man, for the elect, man. You know, it's going to be a test for Israel in general. But only the elect are going to pass the test, man. You know, only the elect, only the 1/3. Because that's who was predestined to make it. You know, yes. You know, the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is his treasure, because in the evil day, you're going to know what not to do. You're going to know by all this wisdom and knowledge that you've been gathering through the years, you're going to know what not to do in that day that's going to jeopardize your salvation, that's going to piss off Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. When you're starving out here, you ain't going to think, okay, well, I'm going to go get a ham slider. You know, or you see a ham slider, you gonna know not to eat that shit. You know? You see Jake bugging out, they might be throwing slop out in the streets. It's fucking turkey gravy and biscuits. You don't know, oh, I can't eat that. Let me just go a different direction. Because these people, they're gonna run to Egypt for help. They're gonna run to Esau for help. And Esau doesn't want you keeping the law. Esau don't want you to be righteous. Okay? They're gonna be feeding you 3D printed foods, you know? Microchipping you at that. You know, microchipping you at that just to receive any type of aid, man. That's why the scripture says, woe unto them that run down to Egypt for help. Because when shit hits the fan, that's what they gonna do. They gonna set up perimeters and have troops, you know. And they gonna say, well, come here if you need clothing. Come here if you need warmth, shelter. Come here if you need food. And you're gonna be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. But there's gonna be the majority of the masses of people that run down into those places, man. Not knowing it's a trap. Okay? You know? Go ahead.
This is Micah 7:9. It says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy God? Mine eyes shall behold him now. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the street.
Yeah, and that goes exactly into what I was talking about, because the majority of people that are going to run down to Egypt for help, the majority of Israelites on the planet Earth, because the majority of the gender of humankind is females, all right, a lot of Israelite women are going to get put to death, man. Okay? That's why it says, now she that is mine enemy. All right? Now, I'm not saying this for all Israelite women, okay, but the majority of the Israelite women here in this present life, they are in fact our enemy. And you hear about it, you can just go on the YouTube and see it all day long, about the N-Dub, all right, the Southern Kingdom woman, pretty much telling Esau that he needs to eradicate all black men, okay? And there's a lot of them. You know, that feel like that you were just there as a donor, man. As a donor. You know, that there's no other use for you. Okay? Because you're not some rich billionaire Edomite, man. All right, but she that is mine enemy, in that day they're going to see it, man. Because they're going to run down to Egypt. All right, they're going to get microchipped, and then get hit with missiles, man. America's going to get hit with missiles, man. You know?
Yeah, bro. Look, I mean, look, how you gonna be out here in this freezing ass cold dressed like that, bro?
Oh man, I see it all the time. You know, I'd be at work, and it'd be like 4 p.m. I'm still at work, and you got some women come in and like wearing a fucking top.
Yeah. It's freezing ass cold out here, bro.
Yeah. I was like, damn, the coochie got icicles on it and shit.
Bro, these man, the scriptures are right when it says, beware of the woman whose heart is snares and nets. I mean, God damn, bro. These women belong to the world.
Yeah, this is their world.
They actually belong to the world, bro.
Yep. That's why I said that she that is mine enemy. You know? Because they're not really with you, man. You know? Now, I'm not saying this for all brothers. You know, I'm not saying this for all brothers. The scriptures do say you're going to have trouble in the flesh. And so I'm pretty sure that applies to the brothers that got a somewhat cool woman. You know?
I was thinking
Because me, personally, yeah, all the women I've dealt with, I had more than trouble in the flesh, man. I had a constant war dealing with these fucking women, man. To the point you realize, like, you just gotta wait for the kingdom, man. You just gotta wait for the kingdom. You just gotta wait for Isaiah 4:1. The last thing I told the last woman I dealt with, I was like, you know, and the only thing I could see for this relationship to be saved was for there to be a big disaster. And pretty much what I was insinuating at is prophecy being fulfilled, Jacob's trouble, and the woman saying, I need a man that knows what the fuck's going on. Going back to that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. We know what's going on. We're telling you every day that shit is about to hit the fan, that there's going to be martial law, that there's going to be Jacob's trouble, that there's going to be civil unrest, that there's going to be economic decline, that there's going to be famines, okay, that there's going to be nuclear war, okay? We're telling you that America is going to get trodden down. America's going to be a fucking war zone. Alright? And it's not just going to be foreign countries invading or other countries waging war on this place, but it's going to be the own citizens of America at war with one another, man. And what are you women going to do? Okay? Meanwhile, it's going to be lawless out here. Women dressed like that, and that day, dudes are just going to just run up, you know? There isn't going to be no women dressed like that in that day. You know, you got to be a real dumbass. Okay? There's not going to be no Wonder Woman out here fucking fighting shit off. Alright? So take heed while you know, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua may be found. Okay? Take heed while he may be found. And all it's going to take is one major T attack to shut this bitch down. All it's going to take is for the elite to say release disease X.
Yeah, another pandemic.
That's all it's going to take. Another lockdown. But the next lockdown, they're going to have to run with it. That's going to have to be their power play. Because this devil knows he's running out of time. Alright? He knows he's running out of time. Good, bro?
Isaiah 13 and 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
Let's start up.
this Isaiah 13:9, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger,
Yep.
to lay the land desolate.
Yeah, the land that he's going to lay desolate is America, man. The day of the Lord cometh cruel. Okay, cruel. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is not going to have pity on anybody that's not of the elect, man. He's not going to have pity on anybody that's not of the 1/3. Okay? When you read Job chapter, I believe it's, man, let me just get it for truth's sake. This is Job chapter 2. No, it's Job chapter 3. Lucky, it was Job chapter 4 in verse 7. It says, remember, I pray thee, who ever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? You see, the Lord coming back cruel, you know. Hey, when those missiles drop on this place, man, as it tells you in Isaiah, I believe it's 14, that the Medes, when they shoot their missiles, their arrows, it says they shall not spare children, man. So the Lord coming with that cruel, with that anger, man. You know, that's why it's very important that you take heed to what we're saying and turn back to the Lord and repent, because in that day, the Lord, He's just gonna kill everybody that's sort of the 1/3 that's here in America, man. You know, He's not gonna care if you're a baby, man, because that same baby just got brought back to get hit with those missiles from whatever they did prior, man, from the wickedness and things they've done in the pre-generation, man. You know, like I know we scoff. I know we scoff when we bring this out from time to time, or at least I say it. But you know, Ralph could already be back as a little baby. You know, just waiting to get hit with the missile, man. Or the Lord could just, in that day, you know, give him over to the second death, because everybody that died that wasn't right, you know, they're gonna die in those missiles, man. All right, especially those of you that are, you know, Israelites, man. You know, and that's why we keep telling you, man, that it's very serious. You know, not to tempt the Lord, man. You know, tempting the Lord is like you knowing, you know, what's required of you, but you just keep being an asshole, man. You know, it's not good. Not good. You can start that over.
Yeah, Isaiah 13:9. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
And He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it, man. And what is sin? Sin is, you know, break the law, statutes, commandments of the Lord. Okay, you guys, bitch ass IUIC, you know, them assholes, man, talking about how a man commits adultery, you know, by cheating on his wife, by he's being a hoe. You're a bug out, bro. You can't be. A man cannot commit adultery in that fashion, man. Adultery is when a man deals with another man's woman, or a woman that's married deals with another man. Okay? It has nothing to do with the man having multiple women. Alright, that's out of pocket. That would mean that we were born of a lineage of adulterers. You're a bug out, bro. Because our forefathers had multiple women. Okay? Abraham, Isaac, or Abraham, Jacob. Have multiple wives.
Hey, but you know where that comes from, bro? That's a worldly mindset.
Yeah, because they're all about the world. They're all about, the woman.
That's a woman's mindset, bro.
Well, that's how they got that big ass congregation, all that money.
Yeah.
Because they're catering to the demon. They're just catering to a damn demon. What?
It's Isaiah 13:10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
Yep, he's going to make an Israelite man more precious than fine gold. And when I say Israelite man, I mean the man of the Lord, the man of the elect, You're going to be more precious than fine gold. All right, gold is a hot commodity. You have enough gold, hey, you could buy your life, Well, on that day, an Israelite man of the Lord, the elect, all right, the Lord going to be dealing with him, and that's going to be your salvation. All right, that's going to be your golden ticket. All right, into the kingdom. The elect Israelite man, he's going to be more precious than fine gold, meaning he's going to be cherished and taken after by the Lord. When something's precious to you, you don't just leave it in the bathroom. When something's precious to you, you don't just fucking throw it behind you. No, your mind is constantly on it. You're keeping it safe. You're treasuring it, cherishing it. Well, that's how the Lord is going to be towards his men. He's going to constantly be protecting them. He's going to cherish them. As a matter of fact, it tells you that in Isaiah 66? It's Isaiah chapter 66. Let me see. It's 65 and 13. And it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. You see, so the Lord, he gonna give, his servants, the elect, food, water, everything that they need to make it through, to make it into the chariots. Okay? But then you got, 2/3 that are just gonna die out here. They're gonna die either by the troops, starved to death. Okay? And the majority, the 2/3 club, alright, it's women, man. Okay? You remember when that scripture where it says, slay utterly old and young?
Yeah.
In that scripture, it mentions women like 4 times, man. Like 2 or 3, 4 times.
Yeah, it says both maids and little children.
And then it says, and women.
Man.
So it mentions women like more than once.
Really, the Lord, man. A lot of these women, bro, the Lord literally hates them.
Yeah.
He's rebellious as fuck.
So that the woman is, as it says, let me get that as well.
Hella proud. They say the woman that knows she is Israelites the word. Remember that one woman that knew she was an Israelite that came up?
Yeah.
Oh, that was pure hell, bro. She talking about she was raised in the truth, got tattoos all over her and shit. Like, what the fuck? Her man right here smoking a blunt.
Damn, for real?
Or his eyes was on, he was, you know what I mean? Like, I could smell it. Looked like he had just smoked something, you know what I mean? It was just pure degenerate, man. It was just foolishness, you know? What's it? Folly.
Yeah, it's Ecclesiasticus 25 and 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all died. See? Through the woman came the beginning of sin, man. Alright, the serpent went and beguiled Eve. Gave her that mind state, you know, gave her pretty much what the serpent did was he brainwashed her, man. And that's the same thing the serpent does today to these women, man. He brainwashed them into believing a lie, man. You know, that they could just work hard and fucking... Not even that, bro. A woman don't even gotta work hard. Okay, she could just fucking give box to multiple men. You know? And that was a form of the game that he gave her. You know? He told her, look, you're gonna be as a god. He didn't lie to her. You know? He said your eyes will be open and you'll know good and evil and it'll be like a god. What do these women call themselves? These women call themselves queens. You know? They call themselves queens.
Esau liberated them.
Oh yeah, it was another woman, an Edomite woman, that was utilized to give you liberation. You know? A so-called Jewish woman. Alright, came through with that fucking, further gave you that, wicked ass knowledge, man.
Gave you women liberty, gave you a voice, gave you a say, gave you a vote, and now look at America. It's trash.
Yeah, because that's what women's liberation was all about. It was about giving you women a voice, sending your asses to work, and it was all for the purpose of further oppressing, you know, you Americans, man. Further oppressing you men in general. Starting with the Israelite men. You know, because now she's out the house making money. Okay, then she says, well, I don't need you. You know, I don't need you anymore. I can go and make my own money. Not realizing that was just a way for the government to tax more people. And then she's got a voice, she can speak out, cause all these crazy ass bills to be passed, you know, give votes where they don't need to be voted on, where it should just not even exist, you know. That's why a lot of you young men are turning into moles, man.
Yeah.
Because these women pass those bills, okay, had a say, alright, and allowed the women in Senate and all these Edomites and these damn devils that are in the Senate pass bills to turn your young men into girls and your young girls into boys, man. That's another reason why we need to be saved from out of here, man. There would no flesh be saved if we were here for another 10, 20 years, man. Okay? Esau would fuck with your children in the womb. Alright? He'd be splicing DNA and fucking bugging you out. You know? You see movies like, there's a movie called, I think it's called The Cuties, or no, it's called Cuties or Uglies or some shit like that. And pretty much what it was about was taking regular people and bugging them the fuck out with the microchip, man. And having them all like synthesized to a system where they would be like high and like they could create themselves in their perfect image, just bugging you out. You know, that's what Esau wants, man. He wants you to be a bug out, but programmed with a microchip to think everything's okay. And in all reality, with Esau ruling over you, nothing's okay. You know, nothing's okay with this devil ruling over you, man. Alright? But of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Alright, that's why we die. Okay, it's because Eve was seduced by the serpent. You know, Eve received that knowledge from the serpent and brought it to Adam. You know, and Adam, okay, was given Eve as a help, as a handmaid. So it was kind of easy for his wife to come in and trick him, man. But where he fucked up was, you know, he took it, you know, which was prophecy. It was supposed to happen. Just like today, like, you know, you'll be being raised up as a kid, and instead of you going to your dad, you know, when it's something serious, you'll tend to go to your mom first. Be like, well, you go talk to him, because I know if I do it, he's just gonna whoop my ass. You know? So the woman, especially your woman, has an easier way of talking to you versus, you know, other people. But that's why he messed up, man, was because he listened to his woman, man. He listened to his wife. You know?
And this is why, I got a scripture, this is why Esau did it like that, bro. It says, first Ezra 4:1. It says, then the second that has spoken of the strength. Oh, wait, not that. Hold on. Okay, here it is. First Ezra 4:13. It says, then the third who has spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel began to speak, O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women? This is the craftiness of Esau, bro. Women have borne the king, and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards from whence the wine cometh. These also make garments for men, these bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be. Yeah, and if men have gathered together gold and silver, or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty, and letting all those things go, do they not gape, and even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her, and have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold or any goodly thing whatsoever? A man leaveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife. He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife, and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country. By this also you must know that women have dominion over you. Do you not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman? Yeah, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers, and looketh upon a lion, and goeth in the darkness. And when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother. Yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. And now do you not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Do not all regions fear to touch him? Yet did I see him in Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of the admirable Bardicus, sitting at the right hand of the king, and taking the crown from the king's head, and setting upon her own head, she also struck the king with her left hand. And yet for all this the king gaped and gazed her with an open mouth. If she laughed upon him, he laughed also. But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter, that she might be reconciled to him again. O you men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do thus? Man, that's why.
Yeah, that happens, and that's why you gotta be in the spirit, because what goes into it after that is what's stronger than anything is the truth.
Yep. Right.
You gotta be in the spirit, because if not, shit like that happens to you all the time. And us that have been in this truth, you dealt with women, maybe more than one, maybe whatever. And okay, well you might think, okay, well I love this woman. I'm hoping this woman can understand, be reasonable. No, it's not happening. Now there is brothers out there that have a woman, that have trouble in the flesh. They know. You got brothers that say, oh, my demon. It might just be that woman and that man were meant to be, because personally, I haven't found, no woman that I could say, oh, this is the one. Like how they say in the world, no, fuck all that, man. Solomon, he said amongst 1,000 men, I have found one that was righteous, but of women, he said there was none. And that's King Solomon. That's Yahushua in the pre-generation. Okay? Our foremother, Sarah. She lied to an angel. Our foremother Sarah lied to an angel. Our foremother Rachel stole her father's idols. Okay? So it shows you, even somewhat righteous women had flaws that were just, whoa. So what's really, the strongest thing is the truth. And women are strong. They, a man can lose his fucking mind over a woman, man. We're not in our glory yet to even be worrying about a woman. Now, if you have a family, you got a woman, that's something you got to deal with. But as we say, if it's getting in the way, it's hindering you, you got to cut it off. You got to make sacrifices, man. Back in the ancient world, you had I believe it was Peter. I'm going to look it up for truth's sake. Yeah, this is Matthew 19, in verse 21. Yahushua said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. Because it wasn't our time. It wasn't our time to shine. All right, men that believe, we were on a pilgrimage, we were on a mission. So if you had, great substance, great properties, things of that nature, it was in your best means to sell it and just follow the Lord. Okay? But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. He couldn't let that go. He's like, what? All this stuff that's mine, you're telling me to just forget about it? Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of Yahweh. When his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, who then can be saved? But Yahushua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua all things are possible. Okay, what's hard for somebody to do that's in the world, or their faith hasn't sprang up, all things are possible with the Lord. It's just you gotta have faith. Okay? And what faith led me to believe is, if Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua wants something to be yours, he wants you to have something, he'll keep it there. He'll keep it there. Alright? If Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua wants, let's just say it like this, wants your woman with you, okay, or if he wants your woman with you, you can just tell her whatever you want, and she'll stay there, man. Like, for example, I'm saying, I'm bringing this out because, let me just keep reading. Verse 27, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And every one that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. You see, so what I was getting at was, you put Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua first, okay? You put the Lord first. Hey, I'm going to go do this. I got to go do this. And if your woman bugs out and threatens you, like, oh, I'm going to just leave you then. Oh, I don't see this working out. Well, hey, do you? Because there was times where I would just be like, trying to be lenient with the woman being the weaker vessel. But you see, they just get crazier and crazier, man. They just find another reason to piss you off, to say you ain't shit, to treat you like shit. And through years of experience, I realized, well, you know what? And this being the most wickedest time on earth, you just really can't be with a woman, man, if you don't got a woman. That's why the scriptures talk about those that have wives be as though you have not a wife, because there's no point in losing your wits over it, man. Now, you might really love a woman, but you say, you know what, I just can't serve the Lord and then be hindered and depressed because of this woman. And you making that sacrifice, forsaking that, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, he will find favor in that. Okay? And he can have it to where your woman at the end maybe he sees it, or he's just gonna give you another woman, man. You know, we can't lose hope and get shaken up by these things, man, because these things can actually shake you up. You know, you can actually bug out, think about a woman, you know, especially your woman, you know. But you gotta remember why we're here. You know, we weren't here to have a life, man, other than the life that we have in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. We're in captivity. You know, it's rough, but that's the truth of the matter. You know, in the kingdom, that's where we're going to be able to actually live and enjoy ourselves and have the things that we always wanted, have the things that are desires for a man to have. You know, right here it's just ass, man. It sucks.
Yeah, that's good. Man, really hit, bro. Micah 2:10. It says it is polluted.
It's polluted.
Everything is polluted, and like trying to hold on to any of this shit will just put demons on you.
Yeah.
That's all it's gonna do is drag you down, have demons on you, have you making wrong choices and wrong decisions and spinning in circles, and at the end of the day you're just gonna be sitting there shaking your head all confused, like what the fuck? You know? It's Romans 8:35. It says, who shall separate us from the love of Yahweh Shai? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long.
Right. Yeah. So you gotta think, you know, you gotta ask yourself every day if you really believe. You gotta play scenarios in your head, man. Sometimes you gotta play scenarios like Esau having you in a guillotine or something. You gotta meditate, as the scriptures say, to meditate, you know, on the scriptures, man. You know? And play these scenarios, man. Like, you know, what if you do all this? What if you do all this, you make it to the end, just to bug out or something like that? No, man. You know? Because you can do all this stuff and then at the end your woman still leave you, man. At the end your woman still go get the chip.
Shit, at the end your woman fucking demonize you, man.
Or that part, yeah. You know?
Straight up sell you out.
Yep, sell you out. You know, you don't know. That's why we got to prepare our mind to just be all in with the Lord, man. Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
This is, we are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Hey, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us.
Yeah, we're counted as sheep for the slaughter, man. Okay, we know that Esau's going to come in and try to kill us, man. We know that 2/3 of our own people ain't going to be able to accept this truth and demonize us and look to kill us, man. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter, man. All right, we know that either Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to deliver us from all this, or we're just going to die in our faith, man. We're going to die in our belief. I'll read that part again, Brother Sean.
It says, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long.
Yep.
We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter.
Yeah, for thy sake. You know, for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai's sake, we are killed all the day long. Okay. When the majority of people that watch the videos, you know, they're scoffers, man. You know, the majority of people that we see on a day-to-day basis driving by, they're scoffers, man. They ain't got nothing good to say about us. Okay? When the time comes and they put us on the TV, all right, when they put us on social, use the AI and all that shit, okay? These people are gonna just literally be with the destruction of our character, man. Like, oh yeah, I seen them cussing out white people. Oh yeah, I seen them talking about other black women and shit. You know? saying that 2/3 of our people are going to die. All we're doing is telling you the truth. Here it is, just now we have this big ass nigga get out of the car with all these tattoos on his face talking to himself.
Sounds like you were rapping yourself.
It was, but he told you himself. And I noticed, man, a lot of you niggas, man, a lot of the Southern Kingdom, they be fucking loony, bro. They be fucking loony. I've seen like countless young Jakes of the Southern Kingdom just mumble rapping in their head as they're walking down the street by themselves. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys, man? You know? In their own fucking world, just bugged out. You know, and that goes for all the tribes. But yeah, how about Shimei Awashai did a big number on Judah and Ephraim, man? He bugged you motherfuckers out. Hey, man. And when I say motherfuckers, I mean Puerto Ricans and Negroes, man. I don't mean the actual tribe members, you know? Those that believe. I'm talking about 2/3. Just straight bugged out, man. Zombies, man. You know? Another zombie. What did that last word say, Officer?
It says, we are counted as sheep for the slaughter.
Yeah.
It says, nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which is in the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Yeah, and that should be your mind state. So you got to build your faith up, okay, and have that spirit, have that mentality, okay. That who can separate you, all right,